the recording. So welcome to Sue. Okay, so come down to your mats, come down to child's pose. So we're going to do child's with our knees wide, toes together, and sink your hips back towards your heels and slide the hands out in front of you. So allowing the forehead to rest down to the mat. Now, if the forehead won't get anywhere near the mat, that's where your block or your book's going to come in handy. So place that underneath the head. And we do that just so that we can get that release through the vagus nerve at the top of the head into the forehead. So this session today is all about just mobilizing our body. So we're going to work through all aspects of the body and get some nice movement, and also do a little bit of upper body strengthening. So find your child's pose and use this opportunity to scan through the body, just checking in. Where are those tense parts? Where are the hot spots? So as you rest in your head down, try and release any tension in the forehead, in the neck. Reaching the hands forward, having the palms pressing into the mat, just gently. Fingers are spread wide. And maybe your lower arms will rest down into the mat. So with each breath, try and encourage the chest to melt towards the mat. And then the shoulders will come down with that. So you're breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. And as you're breathing in here, just notice the movement in the back body where most of our lungs are. So you're finding that lovely opening into the ribs, into the rib cage. Relaxing any tension from the body before we start. So another deep breath in. Breathing out and letting go. And then on your next inhalation, just lift your head away from the mat, come up onto your fingertips so that your hands are like claws. And as you exhale, walk the hands all the way around to the right-hand side. So your chest is resting on your right thigh. And see if you can focus on sending the left hip still towards the left heel. But try not to lift it away from that heel. So you should be getting a lovely stretch down the left side of the body. Remembering to keep your fingertips in that claw position. So you're holding the arms strongly away from the mat. Just take a few breaths here. And now on your next inhalation, walk the hands all the way back to center. And then all the way around to the left-hand side. This time resting your chest on your left thigh. Send your right hip towards your right heel. Just find that lovely stretch in the side body. Continuing to breathe here. Breathing and opening the right side of the body. And then breathing in, walking all the way back to center, and just rest your head down once more. Just notice if your head and your arms seem to melt into the mat a little bit easier. And then on your next inhalation, bring yourself up into all fours. Sorry about the cough, it's irritating me, it must be irritating you. So hands underneath the shoulders, have your toes into the mat, so your feet are really strong here. Check your knees are underneath your hips, and spread those fingers wide. So we're going to do some awareness of our back here as we get some movement into the back. So taking a breath in, you're just going to lift the back and drop the head as if you're coming up into cat pose. So you're pressing the hands into the mat, dropping the head down. So just holding that position here. And then as you inhale, can you expand your back any more? So dropping the head, opening through the back body. And as you exhale, keeping in that position, can you contract or compress the front of the body? So you're holding it up in this arched cat, but you're drawing the inner arms together, the front of the chest together. So you're really trying to exaggerate that arch. Tucking the hips under, tucking the belly button under. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, come back to all fours. So we're going to do a similar thing now in cow pose. So just bring yourself into cow. So tilting your hips up towards the ceiling, leading with your chin and your chest. So we're finding that dip in the spine. Take a breath in. Feel how the front of the body expands as you breathe in. And this time as you exhale, feel how the back body compresses. So the shoulder blades squeeze together. So it's subtle movements, but they're quite strong if you do this with your breath and really focus on just trying to shift those areas into your back. Keep breathing. You're holding the position, but you keep on breathing. So let's try that once more. Just take a breath in, ease back into all fours. Breathe out. So we're going to go back into cat. So round the spine, press the mat away from you, really arch the back, drop the head down, holding in that cat position as you inhale, expand through the back. And as you exhale, contract the front of the body. Drawing the chest together. Just trying to find that subtle move. By contracting the front, you're encouraging more of an opening in the back. The breath in and return to all fours. Breathe out. And then position into your cow pose. So you're tilting your pelvis up, finding that dip in the lower back, leading with the chin and the chest. In cow pose, just take your gaze forward of the mat. Breathing in, really expand the front of the body. And as you breathe out, compress the back and the shoulder blades. So it's quite good to just do this little move and focus on small, subtle moves in the body. It's amazing how much of a shift you can get as well, because you think, oh, nothing's moving. But you will get some movement into the body. Keep breathing. Breathing, come back to all fours. We're going to do that once more. Come up into your cat pose. Drop the head. Really arch through the back. Breathing in. Expand in the back. Breathing out. And press in the front, the chest. Draw in the chest together into the midline. Breathing in, return to all fours. Come into your cow pose. Tilt the pelvis, leading with your chin and your chest. Breathing in, expand through the front. Breathing out, compress the back and the shoulder blades. Breathing in, come back to all fours. Just have a little bit of a wiggle here. Move your hips, move your shoulders. Do whatever feels good, just easing out. And imagine you've got a pen in your mouth and you're drawing a big figure of 8 onto the mat in front of you. So you're going to go forwards and back, sinking towards your hips. Drawing that 8. And then change the direction. Just getting the body moving here. Well done. So let's come back to our all fours position. So your hands are underneath your shoulders. Really spread those fingers wide. Toes into the mat. Take a breath in. As we breathe out, lift your knees and your hips. Come to downward facing dog. So encourage those heels to come towards the mat. Let's just have a little walk of the dog. One foot, then the other. Send the heels down into the mat. Remembering to shift the weight back towards your heels so you're not putting too much pressure on your wrists. And dropping your head through the arms, keeping the ears in line with the inner arms. And then let the heels rest towards the mat. And take 3 long, deep breaths here. Breathe into your down dog. In and out. And then on your next inhalation, just shifting the weight slightly forward through plank. Draw your right knee up to your chest. Step it through to your right hand. And then drop your back knee down. So your left knee comes down to the mat. So we're making that nice 90-degree angle shape with our knees. Checking the ankle is below the knee, or the knee is below the hip for the back one. So taking a breath in, you're going to inhale, lifting the chest up and away from the mat. Take your hands behind you and interlace your fingers. Now this is where you might need a strap, because if you can't keep your elbows in line here, then you might need to hold a strap and press back with the strap. But if you can open the shoulders enough so that your elbows do stay in alignment, if you've got a little bit more flexibility, then you don't need the strap. So it's quite a good idea to try it with both. And then you can see the difference. Because you might think you're doing it without the strap, but you're not actually drawing those elbows together, keeping them in alignment. So just take a breath here. Now, as we exhale, you're just going to start to straighten the right foot and send in the hands back behind you. So this is a little bit of a balance. You think you're going to topple towards the left here. So keep that strength in your tummy. Breathing in, come back up. Breathing out. Extending the arms behind you. Really pressing the front foot into the mat and the back leg. A little bit more of a challenge because your toes are into the mat here. Breathing in, come back up. Breathing out. Dipping forward once more. Straightening that front leg. Breathing in, come back up. Release your hands to the mat. Release that right foot back into downward facing dog. Just have a few breaths here. Enjoy your down dog. And then on your next inhalation, shift the weight forward through plank, draw the left knee up to the chest, step it to your left hand. Drop the right knee down to the mat. Check in that 90-degree angle with your feet. Right toes are into the mat. Breathing in, lift the chest. Engage those fingers behind you. Opening the chest or have the strap behind you. So you're dropping your shoulders down, sliding the shoulder blades down your back. Lifting the crown of the head tall here. Breathing in. Breathing out, straightening the left leg as you dip forward, finding that bit of a balance. Breathing in, come back up. Breathing out, dipping forward. So small, subtle movements here, but you're having to focus. Might be making you a little bit out of breath. Makes me out of breath, but I am talking at the same time. So we'll just do one more. And then bring yourself up. Release your hands. Back down to the mat. Release the foot. Downward facing dog. Just take a breath here. And then on your next inhalation, walk your feet all the way to the front of the mat. To Uttanasana, forward fold. Dropping the top of the head towards the mat. Find that stretch in the backs of the legs. Have a bend in your knees if you need to. Taking a breath in, keeping your fingertips on the mat, just lifting the chest. Finding that straight, flat back. Take a breath in, breathing out, bend the knees, hands to the mat, step the right leg back, knee comes down to the mat. So we're back into this lunge position here. So this time, so our right knee is bent behind us, left foot forward. Taking a breath in, sweep the hands forward and reach them in front of you. So you reach in the body, pressing that left foot into the mat. Exhale. Take the hands back to the mat. So inhale, reach. Inhale forward. Exhale, place them back. One more like that. Inhale forward. Exhale back. So this next time, as you inhale, you're going to come all the way up. Ooh, try not to fall, like I did. So reaching the hands up alongside the body. Your right toes are into the mat, keeping that strength here. Reaching up. As you exhale, take your hands back to the mat and slide the left foot forward as if you're going to try and come into splits. And if you want to, you can just encourage the right knee back towards your right foot, just coming into a splits position. Or your version of splits. If you're nowhere near the mat, don't worry about it. Just breathe here. Use that exhalation to think a little closer. And then on your next inhalation, gently draw that left leg back, reposition your right, and swap legs. So our right foot is now forward, left foot back, coming back into that lunge. Make sure your left toes are into the mat. Take a breath in, reaching forward. Breathing out, hands back to the mat. Once more, inhale, reaching forward. Engage the tummy. Keep that length through the spine. Exhale to the mat. Once more, reaching forward. Exhale to the mat. This time as we inhale, you're going to sweep your hands up, reaching up to the ceiling. Engage the tummy muscles here. And as you exhale, take your hands down to the mat and encourage the right foot forward and the left leg back, as if you're coming into splits. Or your version. Just use the exhalation. Maybe you can sink a little deeper. And then as you inhale, draw that right foot back, reposition the left. Take your right knee back into all fours. Plant your hands into the mat, toes into the mat. As you breathe out, downward facing dog. Just notice this down dog now. How much freer it feels. Maybe your shoulders feel as though they're sliding a little bit closer. Enjoy your down dog. Inhale. Exhale, knees to the mat, come to all fours. So keeping your hands where they are, as if they were under your shoulders here. Take a breath in. And just as you breathe out, send the hips about halfway back over the heels. So see if you can position your back so that you're reaching the arms forward and you're finding that stretch and that opening into the spine. So we're not completely sitting back towards the heels. We're just finding that little half stretch here, keeping your gaze down towards the mat. And if you find this a little awkward, you can also do it with a block or a book. So you can take that behind your heels and your hips, and that would help to keep that position so that you can reach the arms forward. So that's another option. If you find it too much on your thighs, just hovering here. And then inhale and bring yourself back up. So we're going to come to a seated position now. Just crossing your legs in front of you. If you've got your block or your book, good idea to sit, perch on the edge of it, will help to get your hips a little bit more open. So sit up straight and tall. Take a breath in, float your hands all the way up to the ceiling, the palms are facing. And as you breathe out, turn to the right, drop your right hand behind you, left hand onto your right knee. And gaze over your shoulder. Just keep breathing. As you breathe in, ease off the twist. And as you breathe out, maybe you can look a little bit further. Relax those shoulders down. Breathing in, float the hands all the way back up, all the way back to center, over to the other side. Right hand to left knee, left hand behind, gazing over the left shoulder. Keeping that straight spine. Engage your tummy muscles here. Breathing in and ease off the twist. Breathe out. Look a little bit further and you see more of the room behind you. Breathing in, come all the way back to center. Breathing out, release. So let's just have a little bit of movement in our shoulders. Just shrug the shoulders up and down and around. You can do this with your breath. And if you're shrugging them up and down and around, then bring them around in the other direction as well. So change direction so they're coming up, forward, down and around. And then just have a little bit of movement with the neck here. Just rest your hands on your knees. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, drop your chin to your chest. Breathing in, draw the chin all the way up towards your right shoulder. Breathing out, back to center. Breathing in, chin to the left shoulder. Keep those shoulders down and relax. Breathing in, back to center. Breathe in, lift your head. Well done. So take your hands and together, just float them out in front of you. And then interlace the finger, excuse me, interlace the fingers. And as you breathe out, send the fingers and the palms away from you. So you just draw those hands towards you and then send them away. So inhaling the arms in, exhaling and send them away. Just do that once more. So we're about chest height here as we do this. So let's do it again. This time inhaling, with our arms in, exhale, reach them about head height, about the height of your forehead. Breathing in, draw them in, exhale them head height. Breathing in towards the chest, exhale head height. Let's do 3 more, only this time we're going to go right up to the ceiling. So breathing them in to the chest, exhale, lift them all the way up. Sending the palms up to the ceiling. Think about the rest of your form here, keeping that upright spine, engage your tummy. Breathing in, back to the chest. Breathing out. Sending the palms up to the ceiling. Breathing in, drawing the palms to the chest, breathing out all the way up to the ceiling. Well done. Release the hands. Just have a little breather here. Okay. So let's start to get the movement into our hips. So if we come to a kneeling position, high kneel. So if you need some extra padding under your knees, just get a fold your blanket or a double fold your mat here. So your toes can rest on the floor or they can go into the mat. You decide. We'll see how best works for you. I'm going to do it with my toes into the mat. Take a breath in, float your hands out in front of you, relax the shoulders, palms facing down. And as you breathe out, just gently tip back. So for keeping that straight spine, engage the tummy. Breathing in, back to center. Breathing out, feel those thighs engage here. Breathing in. Come back to center. Breathing out. Come back as far as you can. Breathing in, back to center. Well done. What did I say there? Sit back to the heels. Oh, that's a bit of a challenge. Okay, so float your hands up. Again, let's try that once more. Breathing in. Breathing out. This time, float the arms up as you're leaning back. Whoa, that's a little bit different, isn't it? Breathing in, back to center. Release the arms forward. Breathe in. Breathe out. Reaching the arms up and still finding that bit of movement there in the back, and that really engages the thighs. Breathe in, release. Let's just try once more. Breathing in, reaching forward, sinking back, reach the arms up as you breathe out. Breathe in, back to center. Breathe out, take your hands to the mat, take your knees wide, toes together. Let's just sink back into child's. Just take a breather. Allow your head to rest into the mat here. And then on your next inhalation, bring yourself up to all fours. So toes into the mat, take a breath in. As you breathe out, lift your knees and your hips, downward facing dog. Just ease into your down dog. Just noticing how this is feeling after all that body mobilization. This should feel a lot easier than when we first did it. So taking a breath in, shift your weight into plank. So take your feet back a little bit so that you're finding that plank with that nice straight spine. If this is too much, you can plank on your knees. Engage the tummy muscles. And as you breathe out, you're going to lower to the mat. You've got two options. You can put your knees to the mat, cross your feet at the ankles, and lower the chest and the chin. Or if you're feeling really strong this morning, breathe in, breathe out, bend the elbows slowly, lower to the mat, and then release down. Try not to smash your face down into the mat. We just go in low and slow to the mat. And then from this position, take a breath in, release your feet, release your hands forward, reaching them in front of you, the little fingers towards the floor, the thumbs pointing up to the ceiling. Your gaze is to the mat. Take a breath in, draw the hands out to the side and bending the elbows, come into cactus. So your hands or your palms are just hovering over the mat. Breathing in, reaching forward. Turn the palms to face each other, fingers pointing to the ceiling. Breathing out, draw them back to cactus. Hover the hands over the mat. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Breathing in, reaching forward. Breathing out, cactus pose. Keep your gaze to the mat here, keeping the length in your neck. Breathing in, take your hands alongside your chest. So two options here. You can press the hands into the mat and just lift into low cobra. Just being careful of the lower back. Slide the shoulder blades together. Or if you've got a little bit more flexibility, come up into up dog. So balancing on the 10 toes Lifting your chest and your chin, finding that length through the front body. Breathe in, breathe out, knees to the mat. Keep your knees pointing forward this time, sink the hips back. Child's pose. Just get your breath back. Breathing in, come back to all fours. Reposition your knees under your hips, toes into the mat. As you breathe out, lift your knees and your hips. Downward facing dog. Enjoy this down dog. I know I keep saying it, but it must feel better now. Breathing in, walking your feet all the way to the front of the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. Drop the head towards the floor. Breathing in, slide your hands up to your shins. Find that half forward fold. Ardha Uttanasana. Send the top of the head out in front of you. Find that length in the spine. Breathing in. Breathing out. Take your hands back to the mat. Uttanasana, forward fold. So from this forward fold, have a bend in your knees enough so that you can plant your hands down into the mat. So really connect the palms to the mat. And then drop the head towards the mat. So you're really opening through the spine here. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, start to lift your hips up to the ceiling. You're dropping your head further forward, straightening the legs. Gives you a little bit more of an opening into the back as you come into this Uttanasana. We're bending through the back rather than trying to just bend at the hips each time. And then inhale, bring yourself up to half forward fold, hands to the shins. Take a breath. On your next inhalation, take your hands out wide and slowly, slowly, slowly reach the hands up and overhead. And as you exhale, bring the hands behind your head, interlace the fingers and open the elbows out to the side. So your arms are open out wide. Stand up straight and tall. So think about the position of your rib cage here. We don't want to jut it forward. We're keeping that straight spine. So breathing in, breathing out. Send the right elbow down towards the right side of the mat. Breathing in, back to center. Breathing out, left elbow. Breathing in, back to center. Breathing out, mini back bend. Just opening the chest. Breathing in, back to center. Release the hands. Well done. So we're going to stand at the top of the mat. And we're going to try and come into a squat. Some of you will be able to do this with your heels on the floor. Some of you will need to keep the feet and the heels, will keep the heels away. And we can try it with a block as well. So let's see how we get on. So put your hands behind your head. So let's get that open feeling first of all. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, start to round through the spine and bring the elbows together. So we're bending the knees, rounding through the spine, and then starting to sit down into the best squat that we can get to. So if your heels stay on the floor and you're in this position like me, then that's fine. If you can get even deeper, then go for it. If it means to go deeper, then your feet come away from the mat, then it's a little bit trickier because it's harder to balance. So I think you might be better off focusing on keeping the heels onto the mat. And then take a breath in, lift and draw those elbows up towards the front. Breathing out round through the back once more. Breathing in slowly, uncurl. Open the elbows as you come to the top. So try and make this into a flowing movement. Breathe in, breathe out. Start to fold forward, bring the elbows together. Tucking in the tummy, sitting down, drop the elbows towards the mat. Breathe in, lift the elbows, sit deeper. Breathing out, drop the elbows, lift yourself up. As you breathe in, not easy, is it? Breathing in, let's do once more. Draw the elbows together, folding down, sitting into your best squat. Dropping those hips, breathing in, lift the elbows. Breathing out, dropping them down, breathing in, coming all the way back up. Woo. Release your hands. Just have a little shrug. And just allow everything to settle. Well done. So we're just going to do a few more moves before we come down to the mat. So stand up towards the front of your mat. Stand up straight and tall. Plant your left foot into the mat. Breathing in. And as you breathe out, step your right foot back into quite a wide lunge. So bend the left knee. So take a breath in. You can drop the right foot into a 45-degree angle if that makes you feel a little bit more stable. Breathing in. Opening the chest as you send your hands behind you. Breathing out. Just slightly reaching forward. Reaching the arms behind. So it's a little bit like we did before, but we had our knee down on the mat. Breathing in, bring yourself up. Breathing out, release the arms. Should we do one more on this side? Breathing in, float the hands behind you. Engage those fingers, open the shoulders. Breathing out. Ooh. And send the weight forward. Try not to fall. Breathing in, bringing yourself up. Breathing out, release the hands. So swap the feet. So step towards the front of the mat. Step the left leg back. Choose your position with that back leg. More challenging if you're up on the heel. So take a breath in. Bend that right knee. Keeping it above the ankle. Engage the hands behind your back. Keep that upright spine. Breathe in. Breathe out. Reaching forward. Breathing in. Come back up. Breathing out. Reaching forward. Well done, everybody. There's no rush when you do this. Just lean into it with your breath. Try and do it controlled. Breathing in. Step your left foot to the top of the mat. And then we're going to take our feet wide. So along the long side of the mat, have the toes pointing out at a diagonal. Take your hands behind your back. Now again, thinking about the position of your elbows. If you can lift your chest and draw the elbows so that they're in alignment, then have your fingers interlaced. If that's not working for you, take the strap and have the strap. Notice the difference. So have the strap there. I'm going to do it with the strap to show you. So standing up straight and tall. Breathe in, breathing out, sending the upper body forward, lifting the hands and dropping the head towards the mat. So lift those arms up to the ceiling. Taking a breath. Breathing in, lift yourself up once more. Take a breath here. Breathing out. Start to tip forward. And as you tip forward and drop the crown of the head towards the mat, lift the arms up. Feel that in the front of your shoulders, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Breathing in, come all the way back up. Last time, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, all the way back up. Okay, let go of your strap. Just heel toe your feet back together. We're going to come towards the top of the mat. So just face the short end of your mat. Stand up straight and tall. Taking a breath in, float your hands out in front of you so the palms are facing. And as you breathe out, just sit down into your imaginary chair. Utkatasana. So think about your lower back here. You want to tuck your butt under. You don't want to create a dip here in the spine. It's too much of a strain. Take a breath here. So you can stay here, or if you can add a bit more, float the arms up alongside the ears as you sink a little deeper. Breathe in. Breathe out. Float the hands all the way down to the mat. Forward fold. Uttanasana. Breathe in. Breathe out. Just plant the hands. Release the knees. Come down to the mat into your kneeling position. We're just going to release the front of the chest here. So if this isn't a good position for you, you can again use your block and have it in between your hips and your heels. It takes some of the pressure off the knees. Otherwise, if this feels good, just sit up straight and tall, lifting the chest here. And then as you breathe out, float the hands all the way behind you and plant them down onto the mat with the fingers pointing forward. So you're just going to lean back into this position. So feel how your shoulder blades come together. So what's happening with your belly? Don't let that just pop out. Draw it in, draw the lower rib cage down. Breathing in. Breathing out, lift the chest. Just lift your gaze a little bit more. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Breathing in, easing off. Let's have one more. Breathing out as you do that movement. Breathing in and easing off. And if you want to add a little bit more here, breathing in, breathing out. As you lift the chest, you can lift your hips away from your heels. Breathing in as you come back to your heels. Release your legs out in front of you. Come to semi-supine. So bend your knees, have your feet planted on the floor. Just lay your back down on the mat. And take your hands out into cactus pose. So send your elbows out wide, drop the backs of the hands towards the mat. Cactus pose. Checking in with the back of the head. That's resting on the mat, so you're not lifting your chin. And see if you can relax your lower back into the mat. So just allow the shoulders to melt down into the mat. Allow the whole of the back to release. And then take your feet slightly wider than hip distance apart. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, allow both knees to drop towards the right. So you're finding that little twist into the left side of the body. And if your neck's okay, you can turn and gaze at your left hand. Breathing in, come back to center. With the head, draw the knees back up to center. Breathing out, drop the knees over to the left. Adding in that gaze to the right hand. That feels good. Breathing in, come back to center. Just float your hands down onto the mat so that the palms are facing down now. So your knees are in semi-supine. Just take a breath in, float the hands back to cactus position. Breathing out, float them back down. Just keeping the focus on your lower back here, keeping it connected to the mat. Now gently moving the arms up and down. Can you feel that movement into the back body, towards the bottom of the shoulder blades as you move the arms up and down? And then the next time you take the palms down to the mat alongside, just release them out into straight arms alongside your body. Inhale and draw the knees up and over the chest and hug them in nice and tight. Have a little roll from side to side. So we're in Apanasana, just hugging the knees towards the chest. And then plant the feet down on the mat. Slide the legs away from you. We're going to come to our Shavasana, our relaxation. So if you want to grab your layers or your blankets, now's the time. Come down to your mat. Lying out on the mat in Shavasana. So take your feet wide, slightly wider than hip distance apart. Let the toes drop out to the side. Take your hands in a gentle V away from the body. Palms are facing up. Just resting back onto the mat. Checking in with the back of the head. Rest in the back of the head. Lengthening the neck. And just use your breath here to allow the body to rest into the mat. Taking your attention to your lower back. Just gently rock through your pelvis to allow the lower back to find that neutral position. And then come to stillness. Just ease out your neck a little by rolling the head side to side and then returning to center. So we'll just have a few moments here, allowing the body to relax into the mat, releasing any tension you may be holding on to. Imagine that there's a scanner working from the top of your head all the way down your body to your toes. And as that scanner passes over the parts of the body, you release the tension. So the scanner is coming to the top of your head, over your forehead, over your face, your jaw, moving to your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your upper arms, continuing its way down the body, down the lower back, the lower arms, the hips, the hands and the fingers, moving down your legs now, your thighs, your knees, your calves and your shins, releasing all the way down to your ankles and your feet. And as the scanner moves away, your body is left completely relaxed. Just take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Just letting go of any tension you may be holding on to. Start to bring some awareness back to your body now. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Rotate your wrists and your ankles. And with your next inhalation, float your hands up and overhead and do a full body stretch. Point from your fingers to your toes. And as you breathe out, just allow the arms to rest on the floor behind you. Breathing in, bend your knees. Place your feet on the floor. And breathing out, rolling over onto your right-hand side. And just draw your knees up a little closer to your chest. Give yourself a touch. And then when you're ready, gently bringing yourself up to a seated position. Apologies for the coughing. So let's finish with our 3 breaths together. So sitting up straight and tall. Take your hands out to the side. Breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, hands to the heart center. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Hope you're all feeling good and nice and mobile, ready for the day ahead. Hopefully I haven't set any germs down the line. Yeah.
The sun's out now.
Thank you, Suze.
Yeah, that's okay, good. Nice to see a bit of sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Nice and stretched, ready.
Sorry,
Well, that was hard work, but I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. I made you work today, did I?
In a good way.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Right,
Thank
have a good
Bye.
day.
And
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye,
See you
everyone.
soon.
Bye. See you Thursday.
Hope you enjoyed that, Larry. Oh, you're on mute at the moment.
Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah, and I was trying to stop Dad coming in though. He was like coming downstairs. I was like,
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh,
"Is your mum okay?" Because she rang the other day and she said, "Oh, it was an accident. I was trying to ring someone else and she didn't sound well."
no, she's not very good at the moment. She's in bed, she is, and
Yeah.
what happened was she went to hospital about 2 weeks ago for a checkup. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago on on Wednesday, and they did a blood pressure and her ECG, and they were both abnormal. So they ended up keeping her in, and
Oh no.
they did changed her treatment, and since then she's come home. She hasn't got out of bed. So we've got
And she was so thin. Like I saw her before Christmas and she was
Yeah.
tiny. She was tiny. And
Yeah.
Karis keeps trying to take the baby to see her, but she cancels because she's not well. So
No, that's
we just
right.
didn't know what to do because we don't want to like be in the way, but
No,
just worried about her, you know.
Yeah, I'll let you know when she's
Yeah.
enough for that. But at the moment, I don't know. Some of it is she gets very, very down, and then she can't get herself out of it. And I don't know. She's clearly not feeling well at the moment. So we've got carers in now. We've got this private care team coming in 4 times a day.
4 times a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what she needs at the moment. She needs, breakfast.
Yeah.
It's mainly for us to be
Meals.
sure she's taking her tablets.
Yeah.
So that's what we're focusing on, and we hope we'll be able to drop it down to to less. And we're hoping as well that we'll get something from social services, because this is costing a fortune.
Yeah, I know it is. It's
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah. But let's. I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of things. We're hoping that once she's had a few weeks of regular tablets, because she was forgetting to take them. See, so that's part of the reason why she went downhill, and why her blood pressure and her ECG was all over the shop. So I think now she's been on this regular regime, she's bound to start picking up. So that's
What I do with Dad is going now is I got like one of those roulette things so that it's an alarm to remind her when to take the tablets.
Oh
And
yeah.
that seems to work. So
Yeah.
if it works with Dad, it should work with her.
Yeah. We've put a box together with morning, noon, tea, and night.
Yeah.
But you can't trust her to do it at the moment.
That's why I think though the with the round one, so you put it all in like what time do you want, and it beeps, so it won't stop beeping until they take it.
Right. Okay.
So it would annoy her until she did it.
Yeah. And does That sounds good. And it can
Yeah,
multiple times in the day.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. What's it called?
I don't know. I think it was called like a rosebud or something like that. But Kim would know. But yeah, social services recommended it to us because Dad didn't want any help.
Yeah,
So it's literally the only thing he'll take, which we made
yeah,
him have. We bought
yeah,
ourselves.
yeah. Oh, I'll have a look for that then.
It's when they're stubborn and old. Like, what can you do, isn't it?
Oh, I
It's a
know.
nightmare.
Oh, I know. They definitely regress, don't they? It's
Yeah,
like,
it's like a teenager. And like
yeah.
yesterday, I came home. I had to do one visit yesterday. I came home. The house stunk. And I said, what have you done, Dad? He tried to microwave frozen fish.
Oh,
Just vile. So
yeah,
I was just like, you couldn't wait for me for like 10 minutes,
yeah,
but
yeah.
just, yeah.
Oh dear, that's funny because I was trying to do. I got it there yesterday, and Mum has Meals on Wheels, and her meals were on the side. And I thought, what's going on here? And she has a cleaning lady, and she happened to be there. So I said, what's going on, Nick? Why hasn't she had her dinner? This is 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
The meals come about 12:30. She
yeah.
said, I know, I've tried it. And she says, no, she doesn't need it. She's had her food. So I went in, she hadn't eaten anything. So I couldn't persuade her to have the Meals on Wheels. So I happened to have some fish in the freezer.
Uh,
So I did I defrosted it in the microwave and then cooked it in there. But yeah, I know what
yeah.
you mean. And I can't,
It,
I'm a veggie, so I don't eat fish or anything. I can't stand the smells of all these
no,
things I'm cooking for her, but
but it was burnt smell as well, which is worse,
oh, yuck. Yeah,
So just vile. Yeah,
yeah.
parents.
Burn some candles, although that's a worry, isn't it, with your dad?
I know, but I did. I have had to burn loads of candles, so it's a good job I had some. But yeah, it is a bit weird. I'm gonna try. I'm just starting a new job once I get a start date. 3 days a week in Torvine in adult
Ah,
services, but they're only around the corner. So yeah,
good.
so I'll be around more still. So
Yeah, that'll be better. Oh,
yeah, there we are.
oh, no, dear.
Well,
Sorry about that.
nice to see you. I'll come back again soon and
Yeah, good. Yeah, I hope
stay
you
well.
enjoyed it and
Yeah.
join in anytime.
And trying to be healthier. So I'm starting with the yoga, I'm going to a
Yeah,
weights class on a Wednesday night, and
lovely.
I'm starting a diet as well because I did the before pictures yesterday. It was not good. So
Uh, that's your motivation.
yeah, that
Yeah,
is it.
yeah, brilliant.
All right. You
Okay.
take care, Susan. I'll see you
Yeah,
soon.
you too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.